This conference will now be recorded.
Respected past chairperson Preeti Ben, conveners of Ghatkopar CACP Study Circle, my co-faculty Mr. Mehul Shah in absentia, seniors Nalin Bhai, my dear friend Amit, and all near and dear friends of Ghatkopar, my own family members rather. Very good evening to everybody, and my sincere thanks to the study circle for having given me an opportunity. This time, I'm sure all of us, rather Mehul has also shared that after almost an year, we were able to at least, have a physical meeting, and that too also on a very important topic of budget. Let me tell you, when Charvik invited me, I requested him that if you can think of a physical against the virtual, and qualify all the inconvenience, because he has already made up his mind with the other conveners to have a virtual meeting. I just told I got invitation. In fact, on last Sunday at Thane Midtown, also first of its. I'm sure you'll agree that the physical meeting is always more impressive, and we are used to it rather. As far as I am concerned, as a faculty, I enjoy physical meeting because we could able to see and express the things much as against the virtual. પણ એક તકલીફ છે, બધા બાંધીને બેઠા છે, ખબર નથી પડતી કોનું પડું છું. Well, friends, friends, Mehul has taken us through the direct tax proposals of the finance bill. My task is to take you through the GST proposals. Friends, it's almost now we are in the fourth year of GST being rolled out, and in the GST environment, the council is the one which is a driving body, which makes all the recommendation, and based on the recommendation and suggestions of the council, the law gets amended from time to time. We have series of notifications, clarification, and even the budget proposal. It's all, and there are series of meetings happen more than the number of months GST has been introduced. The meetings, the one of the meeting minutes was around 158 pages. One of the meeting means that clearly shows the amount of efforts being put in by the council members, the GST council members, in this thing. But yes, the law is concerned, still it is taking its own time to settle down. Of course, one should not expect the law to settle so early, because the look at your VAT or maybe the service tax, the most youngest one, as against the other laws which are subsumed in the GST. We have excise law from 44, the VAT perhaps from 52 or 61, whatever, and we have service tax introduced in 94. Still there are so many the litigations, difference of opinions, and circulars been issued by the department, and things were rather not clear. How can you expect GST to be so simple, and rather, I mean to say, get settled down in 4 years time? But it's unfortunate, the toothing problem with the portal is the one which people are struggling more as against the law is concerned. That's what I have seen. Law, of course, there are issues related to interpretation, but in the last 3.5 years, the maximum amendments are concerned. You have seen lot more notifications coming out is fine, but very few in the finance bill, through finance bill. We have in 2019 also finance bill was there. This time in 2021 finance bill, there are exactly 15 amendments proposed in the GST, of which 14 are in the CGST and 1 in the IGST. This is the total 15 amendments. I'll try to deal with all, but few of them are very relevant. Few of them perhaps you can have a cursory glance to that within the time allotted. I'm sorry, it is almost 7:40. What is the time available? Busy 8:30. Fine. So we are used to slog overs, so its advantage is that in the slog hours, you know what we have to do basically. Fine. Now, some of the important observations of our honorable finance ministers is concerned. This was been a tough year for globally for every country basically, and the challenge was there equally for government as well as we as a civilian, including the businessmen. Survival was at stake, at least for first 3 to 4 months of your lockout, and thereafter slowly and gradually things started improving. On the other end, for government, the expenditure has gone up many-fold, and you can see the revised estimate of the budget. Although I am not economist, but little bit I can see the amount projected collections have gone down by almost 25% revised estimate. So 25% is a very big hit. About 20 lakh crore rupees was the total outlay which was expected to be collected is revised to 15 lakh odd crore. So it shows almost 25% in this. Percent here. Fine. On the other hand, a lot of spending happens on the front of government for the very survival of the citizen civilians, and that really government COVID as against the entire world. You know, I personally feel that you can't say India is a developing country now, because the way we handle is the best in the world, I can say. Perhaps based on the information what is available, even US and UK had a tough time as compared to what India, and they are supposed to be, or they are rather, they are proposing, and everybody in the world say that advanced countries in the world, US, UK, etc. But when it comes to the population, 130 crore, our population is bigger than the entire Europe. Forget about UK. And still we have handled it best. Perhaps to great credit should go to not only government, but also to the individual citizen also to that extent. The other thing is that the government has done a spending of feeding almost 800 million people immediately post COVID being lockdown been announced in the month of March, and the decisions were taken at a jet speed. One thing, let me tell you, in the last 6 or 7 years of tenure of this government under our leadership of Mr. Modi, you can say almost a tough dictator. Whether right, wrong, good, bad, let us not discuss that. But very determined, I want to do this and it will happen. Okay, that is a kind of mindset. Okay, you may not succeed every time, that's a different issue, but the decision making process is very fast, and that is clearly reflected in our taxation also. You have seen the presentation of Mehul, everywhere the time limits have been curtailed, cut short in the direct tax front is concerned, and we will have almost, I am sure, perhaps if this pace, at this pace the government is making changes, perhaps possibly assessment will happen first and then you will file return, because hardly the time limit has been given. I don't know I don't know, I was not focusing completely in the Mehul stock, but in one of these things, in one of the presentation, Devendra Jain, when he was presenting at Thane, I heard one slide, the last date of filing return for a category was 30th of November, and for revising the time is only 31st December. So it is only 1 month's time you get. Okay, and very important is that we are all human beings, including whosoever it may be, whether you sit on this side of the table or that side, we are bound to commit a mistake. But then you, first of all, you are expected not to commit a mistake, and if you commit a mistake, your time limit to rectify is so limited. Okay, so I think our life is much miserable for next coming few years till the backlog is getting cleared and we come at this thing. Perhaps next 2-3 years will be very crucial, and thereafter it's all depend how government take it forward. Okay, big thanks to the health workers, our police force, and our farmers for ensuring that by and large the security of the person, and by and large most of us could not be deprived, or rather not deprived, of essential commodity. Our survivals have been, we should be thankful to them, our gratitude to them, which has been expressed by our finance minister, and it is a part of the budget speech also. 6 pillars on which this budget, as per the finance minister, I'll not read the all, but one very important, the first one, health and well-being. Yes, 100 marks to government to that extent. And the last is minimum government, maximum governance. To what extent it is right or wrong, time will tell us. But one thing is there, more or more thrust on the artificial intelligence. Now, artificial intelligence is concerned, to some extent it is a boon, but in some of the areas it will create a mess, especially in GST. Indirect taxes, I can give a lot of example on that front. And very rightly said by Mehul that ITET becoming faceless, or maybe the appeal becoming faceless, I think it will be chaos, at least for initial years, because what I speak or what I write, speaking is different thing, because when I'm speaking, if you do not understand, you may ask for further clarification, etc. But if I write, and if you do not understand in the same spirit, I think you're not able to do the justice. Okay, so that is where the things need to be. Same thing is likely to be there in the GST in time to come for sure, which is not going to be fair. So artificial intelligence is concerned. Let us see some good points on the GST front in this budget is the interest on delayed payment of GST, which was the most debatable section 50. Now it will be on the net amount that has been clarified. I'll take you through all these bullet points in a detailed manner in my presentation. The GST audit is removal. I'll say it is a good to that extent, to great extent. First of all, our institute and we will not have to beg for extension. That is first part. So that is the best part of it. And the second is why to be in a protective environment. Let me tell you. Okay. See, you take it in writing from me. There, your work will be manifold in absence of GST audit, because I always consider without chartered accountant it is not possible to implement taxation law in India. We have hardly 3 lakhs or chartered accountant, exact number Pritiben can say fine, of which how many are in practice, maybe 50-60% or less than that. It is impossible virtually if this particular class of people eliminated from the taxation system. The language spoken by the executives and the language spoken by the taxpayer, nobody will understand. One speaks English, the other speaks French. We are the intermediate, we are translated, we are communicating properly, and that's why things are going in a proper order to the extent. And if GST audit is removed, I am sure in next 2 or 3 years it will bounce back for sure in one or other way. So to that extent, I'll say it's a government has justified saying that it's a reduction in cost, but I think there is a manifold cost gone up on various accounts compared to that GST cost. I'm sure for businessmen this was never been a cost. It will be a really a value addition. But then our professional brother also have to ensure that they are really giving value addition, rather only for a sake of doing audit. That if that being the approach, we will not able to survive. But this is boon to that extent. I say self-certified annual return by SSC, one more boon. You need not have to worry about disciplinary committee, because we are not signing anything. Obviously return will be prepared by chartered accountant. Today also, for cutting your hair, even if you know, you go to barber only. So how come you file a return without chartered accountant? See, the medicines are available in the medical shop, but still you go to doctor, take prescription, and then only they go for medicine. Same thing, GST return, 99% people have to come to you in the sense professionals only for filing. It's good that we are not signing, best to that extent. So I'll say it's a boon to that extent. And on the contrary, there will not be reduction in cost whatsoever. Then some of the points on which I feel that is a disappointment for the taxpayers and the professional. The principle of mutuality, which has been traveled to the up to Supreme Court in the GST regime, as in the service tax regime, sorry, and as well as in the income tax regime, is now amendment is being proposed in that area, and that too also retrospectively. Availment of ITC. ITC is the heart of GST. Your entire GST is rotating around the ITC. Okay, and that is on most occasion is more than the amount of gross profit, the amount of GST involved in a transaction. By and large, you will find the transactions are fitting into 12 and 18% by and large. And that is not the kind of a gross margin. So if you eliminate in most businesses, let me tell you. So in that case, if you eliminate that, or if you make a mistake by missing it out, or as the case may be, your transaction of profit may turn out in loss. And more stringent provision for ITC, making seamless credit seems less credit. Okay, to that extent. So adding one more condition. Penalties are enhanced for filing the appeal in certain cases, that is more costly to that extent. Powers for provisional attachment. So more and more powers have been given to executive. It's good, we are happy with the powers, but there has to be accountability also, then which is not there. And at the ground level, it is not percolating which the laws have been introduced or rather proposed by the top level or from the ministry, etc. At the reality at the ground level is totally difficult. And by and large, in this country, my experience, powers are by and large misused, at least at the departmental level. With the due respect, and recovery of tax on the basis of supply DX declared in GST are an horrible provision by all means. So these are all the I'll not say results or fruits, but the pains which we are going to have after these provisions turn out to be act from the date in future whenever it will be notified. It will be definitely a tough time. I was just talking to Preeti at the time of this Mehul's talk. I was telling survival of a small and medium as far as our profession is concerned. I think perhaps if this is the approach, next 3 to 5 years time, many will be outside the profession also. New will not like to come in a small is not viable, forget not viable, not survival itself will be at stake. The kind of compliance is expected at this, which is I don't think government has to look into this seriously, considering our population and employment also apart from taxation. Well, all these changes, wherever unless I have specified, will come into force from the date to be notified after the budget gets the assent of president. So, mind well, we have so we have state and center both. So after this proposal in central CGST, there will be every state will have its own budget, which may take another 2, 3, 4 months time. Thereafter, all state will make corresponding amendment in SG. President will give assent, and thereafter the date will be notified. So I'm sure at least 6 to 8 months time may require by the time this all proposal becomes a law, or rather they will be enforced, barring 2 or 3 which are retrospectively. Now to start with, the first is supply. Entire GST is on supply. If there is no supply, no tax. Fine. So this is very, very critical. Section 7(1) which defines supply, and there is 3 schedules to it, 1, 2, and 3. Now in section 7(1), one more subclause is proposed to be inserted, clause AA, 7(1) AA. Now that too also retrospective. Now retrospective amendments are always I mean to say a detrimental also, and it is discourages the honest person when it creates the additional liability. This is one more example of it. And what it is proposing here, with any activity or a transactions provided by a person. Here person means as it is defined in section 2 subclause 84 of the CGST Act, which includes partnership from LLP, individual, companies, etc., etc. So that is transactions provided by a person other than an individual. So in the definition of person, you eliminate an individual to its member or constituents, or vice versa. That vice versa is going to be a challenge how to interpret. For a cash, deferred payment, or valuable consideration shall be included in the definition of supply. This is one additional limb which is proposed to be inserted in section 7(1). And there is one more explanation which is proposed to be inserted, which is to clarify that the person and its members, constituents, shall be deemed to be separate entity or separate person. I have not reproduced the wording as it is, but I have given in a layman's language so that these to avoid the technical wordings of the section. Now here both these amendments are made in section 7(1) by inserting clause. There is one more consequential amendment to it, and which is schedule 2 to section 7. That schedule stands for classification of transaction. Section 7 is a definition of a supply, and thereby there are 3 schedules to it. Schedule number 1, supply without a consideration being involved in a transaction still will be governed by supply. Schedule 2 has listed the transaction, stating that which transaction will be either goods or service. So it is meant for classification. And third schedule is containing the transaction which is neither goods nor service for the purpose of GST. Now with this schedule 2, there is entry number 7, which is proposed to be omitted from the retrospective date, and says supply of goods by an unincorporated association or body of person to a member thereof for a cash, deferred payment, and other valuable consideration. So these are the since it is connected with each other, I took it all simultaneously. Now what is the effect of these transactions? By this amendment, the transaction between us organization, that is a person other than individual, like societies, clubs, etc., and its member will be treated as a supply, and it is sought to be levied. GST is sought to be or proposed to be levied on that transaction. Like we are all saying in a society, housing societies, or maybe in your office, maybe commercial societies. That is one. You may be a member of, like Jolly Gymkhana here. Fine. There are many other clubs other than proprietary clubs. Okay. Now, in that case, the principle of mutuality was one, that club or society, as the case may be, is concerned is of member, for member, by member. Okay. That's why we don't prepare profit and loss account. We prepare income and expenditure account, and we use the word surplus or deficit, because you can't make profit out of yourself. Okay. And what, so how these associations or bodies, like our simple like the society, how it is being administered, you estimate the expense and accordingly collect the maintenance size from the member. It may possible your collection is much more than what is required or lesser than what is required, so you alter it next year or take corrective step from time to time. So whole purpose of collection is not to make a profit, just to ensure that you have enough fund available for meeting the expenses of the society, which is nothing but a facility to its member. So member contributes for their own facilities. That is what a society is concerned, or any such club or association is concerned. And mind well, for in all these bylaws or any constitution, they cannot declare dividend. Okay, because these are all the bodies. It is not a company. I am talking about not the proprietary club. Proprietary club is a different thing, but we are talking about. So now, if you treat these as a transaction, it may happen tomorrow as a person. Suppose we are earning member in a family and we give monthly some amount to our family member for maintaining, say to wife. Government will say that is also supply, because there is no difference. Society is also one family. Of course, it is off member for method. This is also nothing but house tomorrow. So why to do it, and how much amount of revenue is involved? That I fail to understand. Such matter going to Supreme Court. I recollect once Rashmin Bhai Sanghvi was addressing one of the session on international taxation. Although I am not practicing, he has shared one example on this. He had been to some Netherlands for some office work. Okay, and he has, apart from that, he has some talk to be delivered there. So after finishing that, his flight was about some 8-9 hours time was available with him. So he said, now what to do? So he has gone to an office of one of the chartered accountant or a lawyer there who is a tax practice. He said, and he told them, please give me a latest judgment of the apex code of this country. Now, 1 or 2 judgments of this country, so that I can read and I want to know how the law is going. This is what Mr. Sanghvi has stated, Rashmin Bhai. He said Netherlands particularly, in last 6 years in Supreme Court, the apex court there, only 2 cases on taxation were decided. I specify 2 cases. Here daily in cost list of one bench, there will be minimum 50 on taxation front. So you can understand. Now, if a mutuality principle is concerned, where if you count the revenue, now government should have got all the statistics with, they have got HSN code and everything, and they have data mining, they are doing artificial intelligence. What is the amount of revenue? And secondly, this cooperative sector or the clubs, etc., are concerned. First of all, cooperative societies, etc., are concerned. This is a basic necessity. This is an arrangement. Actually speaking, there is no intention of making any money, etc. It is a way in which you survive, or rather you can operate. You cannot have separate water bill or separate garden. You know, salary cannot be divided. 10 people say कि 10 जन है, सब लोग से 200 रुपए लेके जाना. We cannot say like that. That's why collectively one body is being formed, and on that you are collecting the revenue and you are giving exemption. The matter has been traveled up to Supreme Court, and for that amendment has to be brought from retrospective date. This approach is not going to help you. Then you can say that GST is goods and simple tax. That's one. And then you are also giving 7,500 abatement for these, all those. In principle, this is absolutely not a correct proposition which is being proposed in the law. But anyway, the question is concerned, there will be again a long fight, because once this amendment is there, now you'll have to challenge constitutionally, and challenging the thing constitutionally, so High Court and then Supreme Court, how many can afford, and do we have that patience of 10-20 years of a long fight? So that is again not in spirit. These are the 2 or 3 landmark cases in the service tax regime where Honorable Supreme Court sorry, Honorable Supreme Court as well as the Jharkhand High Court has stated that there cannot be transaction of service between club and members, and there cannot be a levy survives. The principle remains the same, but anyway, now that is sought to be amended and will be paying. I'm sure people will pay the tax unwillingly out of no choice situation on this. But the only worst part is that this proposal will come into force whatever day the precedent and date of notification. It will have retrospective effect. The question is there, what will happen to old period? So if you are liable, I'm sure you will get a series of notice for no reason, and there may be a possibility that some of the members may not be there in the organization, and that organization tax also will have to pay by that organization. Ultimately, the burden will come on to different guy. What I am trying to say that if Nalin Bhai is saying in the society and I have purchased his flat and he is no more member of that society, it is his amount pertaining to 17 tax will be recovered from me, which I have never enjoyed. So which will become unfortunate. Even if they are making this amendment, actually should not have been made retrospective. So that is the first amendment. Obviously, one thing is there for delay. I'm sure you will have a good case not to pay interest because it is a liability being created rather now because of the retrospective amendment. So as it will be notified, you immediately make the payment if you don't want to contest. Interest part, I'm sure department will try to recover unless it has been clarified by CBIC. It cannot be taxes which are introduced or rather amended by a retrospective proposals. The next provision is about the input tax credit restrictions. Section 16 sub clause 2, which lays down 4 conditions for availment of ITC. The 4 conditions itself are very, very tough to comply by and large. Okay. To add fuel to the fire, the 5th condition has been added in this. And that condition says that ITC can be availed only if the details have been furnished by the supplier in form number GSTR 1 and such details appear in GSTR 2A of the recipient. So to say that suppose Amit Doshi, I have purchased some goods or service from Amit Doshi, which is my input or input service, and I am eligible for that credit. I have to ensure before availing the credit by virtue of this condition that Amit has declared that in GSTR 1. That is one. If it is not, it will never appear in my 2A. So that is, and thereafter I have to see whether it is appearing in my 2A. So I will, the moment I see 2A, I will come to know whether he has filed his GSTR 1 or no. That is what I will have to see. Now just think of example, myself is a small person, I have hardly 5-10 suppliers. But Amit is concerned, big boss, thousands of people are supplying goods and services to him. So whole day morning he will have to come and see bhai kiska kisa 2A dikhta hai ki nahi. Barabar hai. Now 18% is amount of the ITC. Just think of, assume that he is not chartered accountant, he is into some business of say trading or as the case may be, where his gross property say 5, 10, 12%, whatever, depend. Now on that particular product, the goods are 118% rate. Now he will purchase the goods at 100 plus 18 and he will calculate at 18 rupees is my credit. Assume Amit is not chartered accountant. He is a businessman for the time being. So how businessman calculate? My cost is 100 rupees. That GST is credit I am going to get. So he will give quotation of 105 rupees or maybe 110 rupees on that. And it will go. Now on fine. Thereafter, after a few days, he realized that supplier is not filed GSTR 1, this, that 18 is deprived. So now his cost become 118 and his supply selling price is much lesser than that. So the transaction of profit turn out to be a utter loss to that extent and he has to chase. Now let me tell you is concerned the entire, this Senvet is concerned. The background of this ITC, way back we have to go to Modvet era in the central region. I'm not talking about the state where set off is there. But under the central law is concerned, Modvet was introduced in 1987. VP Singh was our finance minister at that point of time. And since then, we have input tax credit under the service tax regime. It was introduced in the year 2002 initially, and then 2004 we have got a Senvet credit rules which are made applicable to goods and service both. So almost for 33 years, the Modvet and Senvet has been used. Fine. Of course, I do agree that it has been misused by many, and many in the sense amount wise volume is big, but the numbers are sure only less. See, about 1 crore taxpayers GST, which government says around 1 crore people have taken GST registration. I'm sure 20,000 numbers which you not even misuse the ITC provisions by and large. See, by mistake, you take some 2-3 lakhs rupees here and there. That government has got various option, assessment and everything is there. That person has not run away. I am trying to say the Hawala dealer who has used it, run away and then caused a big loss to the exchequer. Now, these kind of provisions will not happen. Those persons are concerned, they will find out some way, and those 98 or 99 genuine persons will have all liquidity issues and all the other headaches infrastructure. And how many, just think of, all of us are in practice, your clients with turnover of 2, 3, 5 crore, they don't have full-time accountant by and large, okay, and they can't afford, only forget it. That is one part of it, okay. And this 2A and all this thing, who will do it? It is not a peon who can do it, okay. It accountant will understand, chartered accountant वो तो खुद का करने में पूरा हो जाएगा, तो he cannot do it for clients. Then what the employee, तो पूरा दिन वो 2A के पीछे पड़ा रहेगा, whether he will do business or this, because this is very survival. No, it is a hard. The moment if it is not appearing, the transaction is in a loss, absolutely. So financial, and what I am trying to say, government executives have got so many powers. They can attach the bank account, they can do, data is available online with them, okay. On the last day, suppose 22nd is the last day of filing return, the officer knows now who are the defaulter on 23rd itself. Where one click of button, if I have got a 500, I am officer for say 500 clients or 500 assessees, on one click of button I'll come to know how many are not filed the returns, correct, or how many are not paid the tax. Then it is a duty of the officer to ensure that the assessee has filed the return, take all the steps, or if you want more powers you can introduce that. No, they want you to do it. So then now what they will do it, if that means everybody's tax liability, I have to ensure, purchaser has to ensure that seller has paid the tax. So then thereafter means the pagar wo log lete, humko to fees bhi nahi mil raha hai, theek hai. So fine. So this is going to be a tough time on that. The secondly, the idea of this is not new. It is not in this finance bill, but the idea of controlling ITC. Maybe I'm sure some people have misused 5,000 crore rupees possible. Now this was in 9th October 2019. The notification was introduced to number 49. And since then, the background of this particular provision is there was rule 36 was introduced, thereby restriction laid down on availment of ITC. As per that rule, whether constitutionally right or wrong, it has already been challenged in various courts because you have no provision in the statute and rule has come. But the limitation was, if your whatever amount is appearing in 2A, maximum you can take 20% of that amount as a credit. That is the upper limit. That limit over a period is now reduced to 5% from 1st of January. And after this section becomes the act, it will be 0. So, for last 1.5 years to 2 years, they are chasing to that extent. Fine, we have no issue. If you want this kind of a law, it's absolutely fine. But then you just think of the liquidity working capital requirement of a small person, and he is an entrepreneur doing business, generating revenue for the government, creating employment. Now you are adding up the burden on him of monitoring all his suppliers, okay, and thereafter also to ensure that the tax is concerned, he will get paid only if somebody else is paying. So if it is not paid, you have to add your working capital to that extent, which will be an additional burden. This is definitely not ease of doing business. And if this way is the GST, then it is never been goods and simple tax. As rather our Honorable Prime Minister stated this, but I don't agree to if this kind of provision is there. The next is concerned, the way this need to be challenged in the court of law for one or two reasons. When the GST was introduced, or rather implemented from July 2007, we had a draft GST rules statute which was amended 3 times in the draft form, and the government as concerned, it was, to my view, in my view, or rather from as per views of many, it was in a hurry-curry, it was been rolled out. The government was never been prepared for it for sure, because that's how the original scheme of filing the return, which is there in section 43, and thereafter section 43A was introduced, or rather proposed in 2019. Nothing is in operation or in practice as of today. Originally there was GSTR 1, 2, 3, all those they are not on the statute, and you have got a summary return in the form of 3B. Now in the original form, it was a terrible, I know the deadlines were also these, but then thereby there was a linking possible based on 1, 2 and 3, etc. That was not there. So they failed. And they failed means who failed? India is number one country as far as the software is concerned. We say that we are exporting software. We are one of the world's best of the companies, Infosys or others, which are TCS, etc. for software. We don't have a good software or system for our own GST, where only there is a 1 crore taxpayers, approximately 1 crore, and we don't have a system for that. And that too also even after 3.5 years are over. So when you are failing, you are shifting the responsibility on the assessee. It is very unfortunate. So to that extent also it needs to be challenged that why it was proposed that it is in the statute, now it is why not rolled out. The second is concerned, there is a contradiction within the law. You read section 16(2)AA and also read section 16(4). What 16(4) says that there is a time limit of availing ITC. What is the time limit? For this financial year 2021, whatever amount of ITC is there, you can avail the same latest in the return of September or 2021. So that is, suppose due date is 20 October. Now assume that Mr. Devani sir has supplied something to me. Now he has not filed his return or GSTR 1 or 3B, whatever. It is not appearing in my 2A. Okay. I keep chasing, but being a professor, senior person, there is some limit. No, I can only request. In any case, supplier is until you don't pay to your supplier, he is not in your control. Fine. So now in that position, if we don't do it till 20 October, I am neither allowed to take credit up to 20 October nor thereafter. Up to 20 October, 16(2)A says you can't take credit. After 20 October, 16(4) says now you can't take credit. So what has happened? That credit becomes donation to government. Now government has got all the recourse against Mr. Devani to collect the tax because this person has not filed the return for so long, and if no action is taken, or even if action is taken, if government has failed, who has to suffer? I have to suffer because it was not a government's money. Try to understand what tax he will charge me. I will get credit, government don't get anything out of it. Now on a failure, government will recover tax from him, interest from him, penalty from him, which may take 2 years or lifetime, but I will never get credit. So it is a profit being made by government from the amount which is never due to it. It is absolutely, and so forget about the principal. They are recovering interest on the amount. So I have never seen a person earns the interest without lending the money. So this is what the section is. I may be a bit harsh. Only thing request to the organizer, they say recording हो रहा है, तो recording disciplinary committee तक मत पहुंचाना. ठीक है. So businessman will be clueless. Forget about businessman, more clueless will be chartered account. Businessman तो पिक्चर देख रहा है, उसको तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. अमित जोशी का क्लाइंट बोलता है, अरे तुम सुन के आना और मेरे को बताना क्या है वो है, बराबर है. Fine. So the problem is for us how to tackle on this issue. The government is concerned on one end recovering interest, on the other end not allowing the credit, which is very unfortunate, and the money will be blocked. Whether to do business in this era or whether there is a ease of business, either our honorable finance minister and the government has not understood the consequence of this provision, and I can't say they have not understood. If they have not understood, it is very unfortunate, and having understood, they have introduced, then I think sense has not prevailed. So more compliance, and you can't say compliance cost is more on the audit side. You remove the audit on compliance. Matching of GSTR 2A and 3B is concerned, I think it is require more compliance cost against the audit. Friends, the next is removal of GST, whether it is boon or curse. I am of the view that anything which is compulsory does not survive for a long, and you don't get a value for the same. Unless you give value addition, you will not get respect for this thing. We are doing audit report. Tell me how many client reads your report? In my view, 100 out of 100 not read. Oh, what is meant by qualification? You write anything, okay? उसको कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता है, क्योंकि वो बोला तुमने लिखा है ना, तुम ही मेरे को बचाना है. And then person like me says, अरे इसका hearing scrutiny માં મારે જવાનું છે, તો હું શું qualification લઉં? જવા દે, લખતો જ નથી. So we take his burden. See, it is nothing. Myself and you, we are all sailing in same boat. Fine. So at the end of the day, what is happening? We are taking a responsibility of the client, and why? Because of the laws which government has carved out. As if I am sure any of your closest family doctor, he will only prescribe medicine. He will thereafter not make a single phone call. Amit, तुमने दो गोली खाया कि नहीं? टेस्ट करावी जगह नहीं. He will prescribe. If you don't do, you die, you survive. Hospital में तो मेरे लिए और अच्छा है. Okay, fine. Why we should bother about so much? I was on the other day, I was talking to Preeti also on the same front. कि why the hell we are asking for extension of the audit? किसका audit बाकी है? आप में से किसको audit लगता है क्या? अमित भाई का बात नहीं करता हूँ, but by and large, fine. Okay, so हम लोग क्यों एक्सटेंशन मांगते हैं? नहीं चाहिए एक्सटेंशन, मरने तो क्लाइंट भर रहा है टैक्स, पेनल्टी भी भरेगा. ओके ना, व्हाट टू डू? ठीक, તમે ડોક્ટર છે ને, I recollect this, perhaps I might have shared this thing. It is in one of the case which was going on in the court of law, a counsel was arguing for his client, and at the end of the argument, matter went against him. It was decided against him. The counsel has gone to the client and just pat his back. Sir, you have lost the case. Okay. He will never say, I have lost the case. See, my job was to argue. You have lost the case. Same thing, doctor says, sorry, I tried, but you lost your relative. So in every case, everything fault is yours. Fine, no? Now, in why the hell we should take all this? I'm sorry, bit blunt on this front, but this is a ground reality. We may not be accepting it for one other reason, because we have so far had a habit of living in the secured environment. Why you want audit here? Karne do na. I recollect so many years back, VAT audit mein there was a representation that advocate will not be allowed, CA should did this. Arey, kisi mein takat hai to audit karke batao. I am sure for all this thing, it is only chartered accountant who can do it. Fine, to that extent, the audit, if it is removed, I will tell you the biggest advantage of audit being done by chartered accountant on most occasions is, if you have missed the bus of claiming, or rather paying the taxes which was required to be paid, you are not paid, or refund claim file kar raha tha, nahi kiya hai, something of that kind, that your chartered accountant by and large will brought to your notice, so that you have got time to correct the mistakes. Okay. If audit is not done and it is going as it is, fine. So assessment ke liye 6 saal hai. Okay. By the time mistakes will be found out by the assessing officer, okay, with this kind of approach of the government, I am sure many of those will be caught either in the GST audit by department, investigation, assessment, whatever. You are losing on interest front today. 18% is the interest, which is double the bank rate. Your bank borrowing comes at 9-10%, and 18%, and there is no waiver of interest. Interest is a mandatory. Supreme Court has also no right. Over and above is a penalty. Then the amount itself is lost. So you, and lastly, the burden will come to you at a time. If you ask me every day 10 rupee, it is possible. But at the end of 1 year, ask 3,650, it will pinch me a little bit. See, so here also same amount comes at the end of 4 or 5 years. It is a big bunch. Chartered accountant is a big wall, and which prevent you from all those things. There are many such things, and now that is being. So we have to say that it is good for us, and for that litigation also they are going to come to us only. And litigation cost is always more than the audit fees. The next is about, there is a history or some background about this removal of audit, and which is coming from the minutes of 39th GST Council meeting. This is the meeting which runs into around 150 plus page minutes is there. If you want to refer, you can read if you have that much appetite and patience. Around 133rd page, these are all observation. The recommendation of the council based on the observation saying that there are a lot of negative feedback about the GST portal, the hiccups and the hardship being caused by the portal in capturing the data relevant for annual return and the GST audit. Somebody was saying 2A is so dynamic, every day changing, like that. You know, summary form, this is not coming, whatever. The next is, the council observed that the date of filing annual return was extended 7 times for 17-18. 7 times it was extended. The third is concerned, the cost of compliance of GST audit is very high. Chartered accountant is charging very high fees. That's what they observed. I don't think so. None of us is charging lakh rupee fee for audit in most cases. Yeah, you check up your office, 90% of the audit fees are less than 1 lakh rupees in your office. And litigation cost of that will be always more than 1 lakh rupees. The next is the collection of taxes are concerned on account of the GST. These are the figures for first year. which is less than 3,000 crore rupees, including interest amount involved therein of 500 crore rupees on account of GSTR 9 and 9C. So the council observed that only 3,000 crore including interest we could able to recover that through DR 303 whatever form is concerned. Rest all has come voluntarily. So audit से 3,000 crore उतना तो उसने audit fee ले लिया होगा शायद. That is what council may be thinking. Fine. So if that is then why we should require the audit and all? Fine, it's a good justification, and that's why the audit was being removed. Okay. The next is annual return. Section 44(1) is completely being removed. 44(1) and 44(2). These are the section for annual return. Barring those 5 class of people, rest all are required to file the annual returns. The section is completely revamped, and thereby in nutshell it says that the annual return is concerned will be submitted by a person, assessee himself, along with a reconciliation statement of the returns filed in GST, turnover declared in GST, along with the turnover declared in audited financial statement that should be self-certified. So you don't require chartered account indirectly, that 44(2) says. One catch is there to that extent. Now, what will happen if there is no audit applicable to that assessee under any other law? Take an example of Nalin Bhai's office. Suppose he is not required to get his accounts audited under Income Tax, Companies Act, no other act. Now, how 44 section will work? In my view, the way it is worded, he is not supposed to file annual return, because annual return says that you have to file annual return along with reconciliation statement, reconcile the turnover declared in GST return with the audited accounts. So his accounts are not audited. If it is not audited, why reconciliation? If no reconciliation, why annual return? If that is the case, then I am sure there will be some amendment or some clarification will come to that extent. And if annual return is concerned, if it is not filed, I am sure 99 out of the 100 assessment will go haywire. Because we used to prepare consolidated summary for VAT assessment, etc. In service tax, there was no assessment. Okay, fine. I am sure in GST, you will have to do it. This is what is the annual return. Okay, and that you are doing away, self-certified and all. Fine. I think it is going to cost more to the assessee as compared to what it is costing now. The next is interest on net tax liability. The section 50, the most debatable section in GST, section 50 was about the interest. In sum and substance, this section says that the tax for delay in payment of GST will be on gross amount. What it says? I am using the layman's language rather reading the provisions. Suppose your liability for this month's return is a gross liability is 100 rupees. You get 70 rupees ITC. So you need to pay 30 rupees in cash. This is simple proposition. Now the section 50 was worded in such a way that if there is a delay, the tax will be payable on 100 rupees and not on the 30 rupees. Now 70 rupees is my ITC, which is already there on the portal. That is never been a government's money. It is my money. I have to avail and utilize. If there is a delay in filing, there is only one way in which I can avail, by filing 3B. There is no mechanism in the GST and the portal to avail the ITC. So if there is a delay, now take an example, some person has 1 lakh rupees liability and he has got 60,000 rupees of ITC. The poor chap has only 10,000 rupees bank balance. Now he cannot file his return because he doesn't have 40,000 cash payment ke liye. He can't make. Okay, so he will think, ठीक है 30,000 पे ब्याज भर देगा. So after few days he comes to our office. We say, sir, ब्याज तो 1 लाख पे भरना पड़ेगा. He will go crazy. Now just think of this 1 lakh को 1 2 0 add कर डालो. Now you see the result. So then and why you want that? This ITC is concerned. There is no delay in recovery for government. See, that amount was never government's money. It was otherwise also somebody tax, somebody has already paid. That I am getting ITC and I have to avail. उसके में भी interest. So પઠાણની વ્યાજ મેં સાંભળ્યું છે પણ આવું તો કઈ I have never understood. But GST માં બધું સંભળાય છે. બરાબર, fine. So this is what is the provision. The matter writ has been filed. The Chennai tribunal has High Court has already decided in the REFX case. There are other cases also on that. That interest should be charged on the net amount only. And mind well, in service tax we were doing this. In excise also that was there. In VAT also era this was there. All settled principle. But still it is there. So thereafter government realized on so many representation in 2019 finance bill, the amendment was proposed by inserting a provision, but that was never brought to operation for so much of long period, and in spite of that, it was understood or rather interpreted as a prospective amendment. So that 2019 bill has become act and date to be notified. What will happen for the period from 17 onwards? In many clients, they already paid the interest. 25-50,000 રૂપિયાનો ડિફરન્સ આવે તો who will file appeal? બરોબર ને? જયેશભાઈ તો 100% ના પાડશે, કોઈ દિવસ આવું કામ કરવાનું નહીં, 1-2 લાખ રૂપિયાની વાત જ નહીં કરવાની, ભરી જ નાખવાના, બરોબર છે ને સાહેબ? So now this is what a position people and government has. It is something more than pickpocketing. Okay, now the gravity of the situation was too much. So in COVID era, on 25th August 2020, they come out with notification 63, saying that this interest should be charged on the net amount only. Apart from that, they have come out with a press release. I am trying to say, if government feels that this should be there, why not to bring the act and retrospective amendment? They know how to recover tax from the mutuality principle retrospectively. When intention is clear, why not to declare upfront on this front? So that is where the unfortunate part. Now that has been proposed to be amended from 1st of July 2017. If at all government feels what they are doing is right, they should also bring a provision, whosoever has paid the interest from 17 on gross amount shall be refunded back to them. Okay, that provision should be there, and for that you should not file application. It should be automatic to that extent, because all the information they are available. So if that being the case, then only we will have some faith or respect for the government to that extent. Now this provision has one limitation. Mind well, you will get the benefit of payment of tax only on net amount only when you file the return before the proceedings have started against you under section 73-74. 73-74 is a show cause notice. It is a recovery and a determination of demand, tax liability, and show. For that show cause is issued, there are only two sections, 73 and 74. One show cause come, and thereafter if you file the return, you will have to pay tax on the gross amount. I just don't understand. It was all about ITC, which was available, whether show cause, but anyway, that will be few defaulters, I believe, show cause is concerned. At least for the others, it will be relief to that extent. The next is, I'm almost at 8 and 10 minutes. See, I have only, there are a lot of slides are there. Some of these slides I have devoted more time, but there are 2-3 more important provision. I would like to take that considering the time available to that extent. This is one provision, the amendment they have made in section 73 and 74. I'll try to explain you this provision with the help of example. Now, suppose I am supplying a goods, and that goods is 2 number transaction without bill, and I asked Mr. Amit to try. He's a transporter. I told him, please take up this good from my factory and deliver to customer Nalin Bhai. Okay, so he's a transporter. Now here what is happening, my transaction is number 2 transaction, no invoice. Amit is concerned, his transaction, he's going to give transport bill or he may not give, that is different issue, but he's carrying my goods. Okay, now while goods are traveling, it is in transit intercepted by an officer. So if it is being caught, so now what happened in that scenario? First they will ask for bill, nahi hai, so they will issue show cause to me. That is, I am a owner because that is my goods. Secondly, they will issue show cause to Amit also, because you are the one who are carrying the good in transit. Under him, the show cause will come under 129-130, because 129-130 is meant only for the person who handles the good in transit or store the goods. So he's a transporter or storekeeper. I am a supplier. These 2 show cause will come and proceeding will start against both. So ek khun ke liye 2 jan. But that is right, because he has supported me. He is aware of. I was doing number 2 and he has supported me. Of course, he is best friend, but then he'll be also in trouble right now in this transaction. So what was the provision? Suppose thereafter I come forward and I say, sir, I am paying interest, penalty, everything I am paying. So provision says that if that being the case, the other party will be relieved. So uska show cause close ho jayega. So if I pay that was the provision. Now government say कि नहीं वो तो उसको छोड़ने का नहीं, क्योंकि next time भी वो ऐसा करेगा. See, I have learned the lesson. लेकिन उसको क्या लगता है, मेरा क्या हो रहा है, जो होगा वो supplier का हो रहा है. So Amit, otherwise you know him. Okay. So now in that case, what happens? Okay. So here provision is been amended saying that these kind of actions going forward, they have separated. Notice to me will be issued under 73-74, and he will be issued notice under 129-130, which is not for the supplier, it is for the person who is carrying the good. So against him the proceeding will continue. Now, but in the old provision, the transporter was also liable to pay tax, interest and penalty. Now they have removed tax and interest, because tax and interest will come from me. Penalty will be applicable of him. So first is his proceeding will be on. मेरा क्या होता है छोड़ दो, उसका चालू ही रहेगा. That is one. Secondly, tax interest अभी उससे वसूल नहीं होगा, but penalty, and that penalty amount they have increased manifold. Fine. So now he will not pay tax, but he will pay the penalty at higher amount. That is one provision. Second thing is coming up on these parties. So the proceeding is made separate. So your appellate provision, and against that, if we go for appeal after paying this thing, the pre-deposit amount which I have to pay is 10% for first appeal. He will be paying 25% for you. Okay. So now onward, I'm sure from tomorrow you will stop doing this activity. That is what government feels. Fine. The next amendment is section 75 subclause 12. Now this is another very draconian provision, but anyway, this provision to some extent was there in the service tax. You are filing your GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B. Now GSTR 1 is outward supply, 3B is your return. Fine. Now the tax, whatever you are disclosing, supply, etc., it is on a self-assessed basis. Any amount, if at all, is as per the definition for this section 7512 defines self-assessed tax, which is now proposed to be amended by this finance bill, saying that self-assessed tax includes tax payable on the outward supply as per GSTR 1, but not included in 3B. What it means thereby? Suppose an SSC in GSTR 1 declared 1 crore turnover in all 12 months. And 3B, his total turnover comes to 90 lakhs. Actually, 3B is suppose right. Let us take all example, right, wrong, up, less, whatever. Now, what this provision says that they will compare with this 1 के हिसाब से कितना, okay, the opportunity which is given to you for reversing, rectifying, etc. So they will compare. Here it is 1 crore, here it is 90 lakhs. So whichever is higher, usko multiply by whatever is your rate of tax. The different amount is the amount due from you, straight they can recover. And for that, there is no provision of show cause notice. It will be arrears of land revenue, and it will be attached from your bank account. They can recover straight away without giving opportunity. That is what the provision 75/12. That means you can thereafter file the appeal. लेकिन पैसा तो एक बार चला जाएगा. Fine. So that is now. This is really speaking. Why they say it is a we have trusted you. There is a self-assessment concept. It is you to file. We have given you time to rectify. That means now you are supposed to act like a god. You can't afford to make a mistake. You will have to ensure that GSTR 1 every time. Once a 3B में turnover कम है, you have to tell client, sir, वो difference जाएगा. But now here this is not periodicity wise. This exercise government will not do at the end of the year. Every month. So suppose this January इसका return अभी February में जा रहा है. GSTR 1 दबा दिया बटन, 100 रुपए का बदले 1000 रुपया लिख दिया, तो बाय मिस्टेक 900 रुपया एक्स्ट्रा चला गया. अभी you can't do anything. Next you think next month में 900 रुपया रिवर्स करूंगा. अभी नेक्स्ट मंथ तो आने दो, तब तक उसके पहले 3B गया. Difference है सीधा at that amount is recovered. They will not wait till March next month, because there is a provision that this will be done within after 3 months, 6 months. Wherever there is different, it is an ongoing process. So that means you can't afford to make a mistake if this is the way it will be interpreted. So then your collection going to 1,20,000 crore, maybe because of these kind of provisions. Yeah.
But in genuine case also, when there is a negative figure,
Yeah.
in formula 5%, 12%, 18%, negative,
Correct.
but you can file in GSTR 1.
Hmm.
So in that case also, GSTR 1 figure may be higher than 3.
Yes.
This is a genuine case.
Yes.
Not mistake.
Yeah. Sir, in this country only genuine people has to suffer. बाकी ने तो मरता नहीं, लंदन में मजा करे भाई बोलो. Okay. The next is provisional attachment. Now there is a power of provisional attachments are there, and in this provisional attachment, only limited sections were there for the government of executives officers to attach the account, and that was section 62, 63, 64, 67, 73, 74. These are all the sections were correct to that extent. Now the scope is widened and made applicable to chapter 12, 14 and 15. What in nutshell is, if I am an officer and if I feel Mr. Amit is in my jurisdiction, so in that process, the proceedings are concerned. If I initiate a proceeding against him, maybe assessment, maybe audit, maybe something else, and I have a doubt that this person definitely has evaded tax, there is a possibility of huge revenue I will collect. But I have concluded, I have started the proceeding. But from the day one also, I can protect the interest of revenue by attaching his bank account or properties also. Now, why you want this kind? This person is, as of now, is not determined as a culprit. You know, it is, you have to be accused first. So that has not been happened. And before that, you are attaching the bank. See, attaching the bank or how bank account means business, he will be without business. Absolutely. Why you want these kind of powers? Absolutely. So, but anyway, now these are the provisions. I don't know the how it will be implemented at the ground level. But if you take panga with some officer, then it will create. So might is right, perhaps the principal. This 25% I have explained. He will have to make pre-deposit of 25% in the appeal, which I have already explained to that case. Increase in penalty fine. The tax is eliminated and penalty is increased on the transporter. These are those provisions. So I will not go through this. One important provision I would like to deal with before I close. Power to collect statistic was the provision. Now they can collect information. There is a difference between statistics and information. Now commissioner has got power to call for information. The purpose can be anything, but only thing that information may not be used against you. Before using against you, they will give you opportunity of being heard. But I think this is too much. They are already so. બધું તો ખોલીને બતાવી દીધું, હવે શું જોવાનું છે? Returns, bitter, everything is with them. Okay, they have got bill wise detail, FF system, everything is there. What more information? HSN code, product wise, I don't know what more they want. So this will be only tool for harassment over a period of time. Then next is this is very important. With this CGST provisions are over. This is the last provision which I am going to deal today. Section 16 of the IGST Act. The sole amendment in the IGST Act is section 16. Section 16 of IGST Act is dealing with the zero rated supply. We are aware that which are zero rated. One, which is exported goods and service are zero rated, and secondly, supply and goods to and service to a unit of SEZ or the developer of SEZ. These are the only transactions which are covered within the definition of zero rated supply as per section 16 of IGST Act. Now here one one amendment is proposed, that is here today the provision says that any supply made to the unit of SEZ or the developer of SEZ will be treated as zero rated. Now onwards, post amendment, it will be only that supply of goods and service which be zero rated, which is made for the authorized operation of that units or the SEZ. This provision was there in the service tax regime and the excise regime. Somehow it was not there in GST. The problem will be now every SEZ will have its own commissioner. That commissioner will have to come out with a list of authorized operation. So whenever you are supplying a service or goods to any unit of SEZ, you have to ask your client first, give me the list of authorized operations. And in the authorized operation, your transaction is fitting or not, you have to check. The chartered accountancy service we are providing, whether that is there or not. If it is not there, it will not be zero rated. You will have to charge tax on that. So you have to be careful. This we were doing in the service tax regime and the excise regime, which has been rectified or corrected. That is one. The second amendment here is the section 16(3) is about a claiming of a refund by a person who makes a zero rated supply. There are two options available to a person who makes a zero rated supply. One, he can export goods or service or supply to SEZ without charging a tax thereon. Okay, under LUT or bond. You give your LUT or bond, you need not charge tax. And thereafter, unutilized ITC, to that extent, you can apply for refund as per section 54. Second option was you can pay tax without collecting from the customer on your zero rated supply. For making payment of that tax, use the ITC and claim refund for the tax which you have paid on output side under 54(3). These were the two options available in both the cases. Now with these provisions, it says that both these options will not be available to you. You will have only one option, that claim refund for unutilized ITC. You cannot pay tax on the outward supply unless there is a notification issued by the government for a certain supplier, class of supplier and certain kinds of goods. Suppose tomorrow they come out with notification, it is only for the garment industry or textile exporter, they can opt for this. Then they can do it, but not the others, like that. Today it is open to all. Now it will be only to selected notified person who, as regard the accessory as well as the goods are concerned. The third amendment in this case is the IGST transaction, whenever you are exporting goods as well as services, the consideration to be received in foreign exchange in case of export, there was no such condition as regarding the goods are concerned, neither in the excise regime also, not under the VAT regime also, because both these taxes were dealing with the tangible items. You can see the physical movement of the goods, whether consideration is received or not received, that will never affect the exports transaction. For service, this condition was there in service tax rule 6A. Now in GST, they have introduced this provision and stated that your transaction is concerned, you must receive consideration thereof within the prescribed time under FEMA. Under FEMA 99, whatever time is prescribed for recovery of foreign exchange from the customer in case of an export of goods and service, you should be able to take, for supply of goods, you should be able to recover. Now in this COVID regime, many countries are in trouble. Of course, now how long the COVID will continue, God knows, but this provision suppose come into the force in July, September or December, as the case may be. Thereafter, you have to ensure if it doesn't come. Then provision says that the refund, if at all you have claimed by virtue of this export under section 54, you will have to pay back to the government with interest, whatever 18%. But mind well, this will not affect the character of your transaction, because your place of supply is outside India, it will not be a taxable. Only thing, your refund amount which you have got it, you have to give it back just because you received payment late. Okay, if you have not received the payment, one can understand. But if there's some delay in recovering the payment from foreign party, where is a loss of revenue to the government? If I don't recover the money, it is my loss. Do you think any exporter, there may be some people who are misused, okay, bogus export, but bogus export also is passing through customs channel, na? Ek hate to tadi naaj wage, there has to be some support given, because when goods are going, there will be some air, it may be air transport, it may be sea transport or anything else. There will be customs checking everything. So they are also involved if some bogus things are going, that's one. And if person is not receiving the payment, then you are just, there is no provision as of now if there is a delay. So suppose that today is the last day for recovery, and for any reason I receive payment tomorrow, 1 day delay, there is no other reports available. What will happen to that refund? I have to just pay it back. Okay, so this is a very unfortunate provision to that extent. Friends, these were the few proposals in the finance bill. Recent amendments I would not like to take because of the paucity of the time to that extent. My sincere apology, but the provisions are concerned. Some of the provisions I have dealt in bit more detail, and some of my thought process is concerned, I have given the views. But I am sure overall the budget is concerned in the current scenario is definitely not a very bad budget by any means. As regarding the GST, the rates, etc., not been tinkered, barring these 4 or 5 provisions. More and more powers have been given is something fine. I have no problem you give more powers to them, but also give accountability. Also, when it comes to refund, where is a refund? There is no fund, there is no refund. Okay, then the next part is concerned, where is a tribunal? Under GST, there is no tribunal is being formed. Okay, you are a small person, 500 crore, there is a your invoice to be generated on portal. Now 100 crore, maybe from 1st April it will be 5 crore. So I have to get myself equipped. And government for 3.5 years, there is no tribunal. Now, it is not formed. So first appeal been disposed of 2 years back, and no appeal has been filed because there is no tribunal. What is this happening? So there is no accountability. 3.5 years time you require. If that being the case, why delivered unprematured baby? That is the only cause of concern to that extent. Sincere thanks to all of you for bearing me for almost 1 month.
Thank you, Rajiv bhai, for the lecture. Just a couple of more announcements before the formal vote of thanks, and I won't be taking much time between your dinner. As you are aware that the conveners change every year, so I will be retiring in some time in coming days, and the new team will take over. I'm very grateful to all the team members which I have worked with, especially the previous conveners, Ravi Jain, Ramesh Pokar, existing team as well. And I'm also grateful to the core committee who have guided us and given us support for everything. Also the members who have listened to us patiently and given their approval for whatever meetings we have arranged. It has been a joyous and very learning experience. I was able to make more friends and learn many new things. So just to announce the new team, our next convener will be CA Bhavin Mehta. The deputy convener will be, he's actually downstairs, CA Yogesh Bhanushali. And the two coordinators, that is next in line, will be CA Kavita Dulu and CA Mamta Sheikh. I would also request the new members, especially the new members, if they want to be a part of the coordination committee, everybody is welcome. The core committee itself is very accommodative and I'm sure you will enjoy. Also, I would request again RRC as if you want to enroll, please submit the forms ASAP. I will roll out by tomorrow. And I would request the new members, especially the young members, I can see a couple of them, to enroll into RRC. Those who have attended the previous RRCs, I am sure they will vouch for me that it is a very learning experience. So that is the announcement part. And now I would request Sri Atul Mehta to provide a vote of thanks.
I am just wondering if Amit Bhai was not there in the auditorium today, Devani Sai would have been taken in. So, that's why he's telling me that I cannot say something which he does not like. But Rajiv Bhai, you have not done anything like that I have to actually blame you. But Rajiv Bhai, yes, you have played slow over very brilliantly. But there is no compromise on content you want to convey to us. Thank you for explaining this proposed provision of Finance Bill 2021 on indirect taxes in usage language to us. Yes, you are basically positive person and spread positive vibes to all of us, even though there is no GST audit, no tax audit, but still he is positive. Yes. So we all are happy, sir. So looking forward for such talks again and again, because we all want to be positive now, even though there is no GST audit, no tax audit. We once again thank you very much for write up on GST amendments shared with GST, which is there in our booklet. Whatever he has discussed, everything is there in our booklet, and we are grateful to him for year after year he is providing service tax and GST amendments to us. Thank you once again. Please carry out vote of thanks with loud applause once again. As far as GST is concerned, he is stating good and service tax and whatever, but GST is good night, sweet dream, and take care. Please join us for dinner at ground floor. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, we are thankful to Charvik Mobaya. Excellent term, brilliant programs. We are thankful to Charvik and team. Thank you, Charvik. Yeah.